Hello, Ray Phoenix here. Welcome to Let's Play Mega Man Powered Up Part 5. So this time around, we're finally going to the Copy Robots level, where everything here is going to be a duplicate of, well, we're going to go against duplicates of all the Robot Masters we've come across before in this game. So of course, this is the obligatory boss gauntlet, and this game actually does the boss gauntlet the way almost every Mega Man game since Mega Man 2 has done boss gauntlets, where it's simply like these large chambers where the bosses hang out and we get to fight each and every single one in any order we want. There's W's in the background, the music changes. Now instead of playing that epic, intimidating music, it's now playing eerie sounding music. There's an actual choir singing in the background. And there's a lot of like skill for this part too. This part's actually quite challenging. I mean, to choreograph where you're going to jump when there's reappearing, disappearing blocks. This level actually is entirely original. No, it doesn't look like this level's a direct, specific remake of anything from the original Mega Man, which Mega Man, but I got like a new level made up for this game, which is actually adds more to the originality of this game. This game may be a remake, but it's not a downright like level from level remake. They actually did really put a lot of effort into this remake by remaking the levels and restructuring a lot of stuff in the game. So yeah, it's one of the reasons why this is a really awesome remake overall. So who's going to be our first victim here? Come on, who's our first victim? Bomb Man. Oh yeah, I remember this guy. This wussy. This pushover. We killed him once at the rolling cutter, and we're gonna do it again. Bosses in this game are almost like the bosses in Mega Man 7, where when you use weakness against them, they kind of just like get thrown back and they start their pattern over again. It's easy to destroy a lot of the bosses in this game just simply by using their weakness over and over again. So Bomb Man doesn't really stand much of a chance. We have all the weapons in this game now. We're kind of expected to use all the weapons in this game against the Robot Masters. Unless you're like some magical god or something that knows how to defeat all of them using only the Mega Buster, which I have seen people do it before. There's even a challenge mode in this game where you can fight every single individual Robot Master without using any weapons. So who's gonna be our next victim? The colors don't exactly indicate who's who. It's hard to tell. Like that one we went into was like green and it was Bomb Man, so. Oh, it's Guts Man this time around. We could take on Guts Man. This guy was a pushover the first time around. He'll be even bigger pushover now that we have his weapon. The times. Or we could slow down time. Apparently for some reason, slowing down time seems to do a lot of damage against him. Maybe it's because he has a time-sensitive job or something. Now, which a lot of construction jobs are time-sensitive, so maybe it's like a reference to that or something like that. And we only get two. That's everything about Time Man's weapon. Time Man's weapon is very pathetic. You only get two uses of it in that state, which is nowhere near enough to kill Guts Man. So pretty much, none of the other weapons are effective against him either, except for the Mega Buster. So they're pretty much left having to mostly use the Mega Buster. Might as well just only use the Mega Buster against him. It'll seem like a bigger achievement. Oh, you beat Guts Man only using the Mega Buster. Well, I did the same thing in Mega Man 1, or at least I think I did, because it's kind of hard to use his weakness against him. And Mega Man 1, because Mega Man 1, his weakness is bombs, which kind of made a little bit more sense in time because bombs explode. But then again, they changed all the weaknesses in this game, so I guess they're kind of staying true to what this game is supposed to be. Who's next? Fireman. Oh yeah, this guy's also a wussy. All the bosses are wussies if you have their weaknesses. His falls back ice. Yeah, apparently ice does a lot of damage to him. Just like it did in Mega Man 1. That's one of the few weaknesses actually remains the same in this game as it was in Mega Man 1. Ice against fire. And even later Mega Man games kind of changed that up on us. Like Mega Man 6 had it where the ice, the Blizzard Man Robot Master is weak against Flame Man's weapon. Even Mega Man X does that, and Mega Man 0 does that. It's like Capcom knew that they made a mistake by having fire weaken, or having ice be the weakness for fire, but I don't know, maybe they just did in this game, because they did change everything. So the color of Wily's spaceship was changed in all the later games to blue, but in this game, in the original, it was red, and this one makes his ship red to be like a homage to that. So I guess putting too much electricity into Time Man overwhelms his circuitry, overwhelms the clock, and they make a voltage spike, which would, destroy his circuits probably, and make him not wake up on time because he's a clock, obviously he's like an alarm clock, obviously. His job is to be, like a wake-up call machine kind of thing. But I guess if he gets too much electricity in him, he's going to be destroyed, which which is what happened right there. His weapons, again, are completely useless. Time Man is a pushover, just like every other Robot Master in this game. This is barely even a challenge at all. If they really wanted a real challenge, I'd throw all of them in an arena, in some large arena, and have us fight a lot of them all at once, or have us fight them without like in a set specific order, where there's no way to recharge our health at all. And if you die, you have to start the whole thing all over again, just like in Mega Man 1. If they really wanted to make this a challenge, they would have done something like that. I don't know, is this game even intended for the same people that played the original Mega Man way back in the day? I wonder why kids these days say old games are so challenging. Older games were so much challenging, but now, at this point in time, it's 2006 now, so games were a lot easier back in this point in time, and no wonder why kids these days think old games are hard. New games are just way too easy. Kids these days don't even know what a real challenge in a game is. A real challenge can't even be found in this game, except for the challenges, of course. I guess that's why they call them challenges. Who's gonna be our next victim? Oh, that commands. Yeah, this is the first time I ever saw a boss gauntlet in a Mega Man game. This is the first time I ever got this far in any Mega Man game ever. I was wondering what was going on. Why are clones of all the... I assume they'd be clones. The color tones on them are lighter than they were the first time we saw them around. So, I imagine that these aren't the actual Robot Masters. They're probably clones of the Robot Masters. So I got the idea that maybe this is some sort of cloning machine. I didn't even know this was a tradition in Mega Man that, every level, because like I said, I never made it this far in any Mega Man game ever. Heck, this is the first I ever made it in any game ever at the time. I had a lot of games as a kid growing up, but it was very rare for me to ever beat the games or make it very far in the games. It's only been like maybe the last 14 or maybe 16 years now that I've been actually making it to the end of games and actually like beating games and seeing what happens when you beat them. This is actually one of the first, believe it or not, this actually was one of the first games I've ever actually played through in its entirety and actually beat and actually saw how it ends. It's very common. It became a very common thing for me to beat games. But now, I sometimes think my skills have degraded. There's a lot of games that are challenging that I still haven't beat yet. Some people ask me if there's ever been a game I've never beat before. That's like asking the Democrat Party of the United States if they ever lost an election before. And Cutman is still, he's jumping over. Cutman doesn't even want to fight us, really. He's not even doing anything to seriously fight us. He's just jumping over. He's like frickin' Darth Maul, where he keeps jumping around, doing backflips and flipping around. He's doing more jumping around than actually fighting against us. Then he uses his dual-bladed weapon against us, which looks cool. It makes him look like he's some, like he's some, challenging, tough fighter, but really, we just killed him easy using the Mega Buster. We didn't even have a choice to use his weakness there, because his weakness would involve picking up boxes and throwing them at him, but we don't have any of Gutsman's boxes and so we had no choice there. But he's Cutman, he's a wuss. Here's Oil Man, here's another wuss. His weakness is Firestorm, because I guess, some people said that oil's very flammable against fire. I don't know if that's true or not. Some people said that's just a myth that oil apparently burns up faster you put in fire. Oil is flammable. I don't know if that's an actual thing or not. Maybe in the future, it's oil from the future. Maybe oil from the future has different things. It's synthesized oil has flammable materials. And, because, oil is a very expensive, valuable substance. And it might become even more valuable and even more expensive in the future, which is supposedly when this game is set. They don't actually say when this game is set. They said it's set in the year 2000X. I imagine that would be sometime so far in the future that we ran out of numbers to use and now we're using letters instead of numbers. At least that's what I used to think. It's actually X meaning anything, sometime in the 2000s or sometime it's had 2 X's at the end, so I guess it's sometime after 2010 or sometime as early as 2010 and as late as maybe 2099 possibly. Never actually says specifically when these games are set, but I doubt we're gonna have technology like this anywhere in my lifetime. I doubt we'll have technology like this before. I don't know if we'll ever have robots. Could robots even be this sophisticated? They could be battle machines and then be humanoids and actually do the kind of stuff they do in Mega Man. I don't know, was Mega Man our future? I don't know, maybe Mega Man is some sort of accurate prediction of our future. So there's those enemies we've been seeing throughout this game. I think they're called octopus batteries. But I remember the Game Boy version of the original Mega Man, they were called Susies, which is why I called them Susie for the longest time. I don't even think that the Mega Man game on Game Boy, the first Game Boy Mega Man game, it didn't even have it had credits. Well, it showed the credits, the cast of characters. I remember it's called them Susies. I don't plan on doing any LPs of the Game Boy Mega Man games, but I do want to do an LP of Mega Man V for the Game Boy, the 5th Mega Man game on Game Boy, because it's drastically different from any of the other Mega Man games on the Game Boy. That's a completely unique story. It's a completely unique game. I think that's why they kept it on Game Boy, so it gives you a reason to want to buy a Game Boy and play Game Boy, not simply for just it's a way to play games on the go, like I was saying earlier. Sometimes portable exclusives or handheld exclusives, the exclusives are what make systems sell, whether we like it or not. Portable games, exclusives are why people buy game systems, and some don't even know the meaning of the word exclusive. And look at this. Clone of ourselves.
On the scene. Warning! Armor. It's just a little unfair to steal other robots' arms, don't you think? A clone of me? How far will Dr. Wily go? But I guess being a copy of you would make me the biggest cheat of them all, right?
So here's the obligatory fight between Mega Man and a clone of himself. Almost every superhero at one point or another has had to fight against himself or fight an evil version of himself. Spider-Man technically did that when he had to fight against the symbiote, and then he had to fight again, and then eventually it became Venom, which Venom pretty much is like an evil version of what Spider-Man is. And then there was what else? What else was there? I mean, I think there was also a time where Superman had to fight off a bunch of evil clones of himself in that Superman Doomsday movie. I think that movie was really good, Superman Doomsday, but whenever I find it somewhere, it's on DVD, and it never seems to work. I mean, it always seems to be a horribly scratched DVD. It's almost like every copy of Superman Doomsday I've ever come across is a horribly scratched DVD. It will be a long time before I find an actual good copy of it somewhere. That Superman Doomsday movie, which is supposedly based on a comic series from longer called Death and Return of Superman. Or at least so I've read. I've actually got some comic books at the post office near where I am right now. It's a very small, remote plus hick town where it's like an island. It's like an isolated part that's isolated from the rest of civilization. And the only comic book store they have in the town is the post office because they sell comics there. That's how I discovered that they had Batman comics there that I bought. And I also bought a compilation comic book of the Phantom. That's how I discovered the Phantom. Well, I kind of knew about the Phantom before because he was in Yellow Submarine. I had no idea who he was, or what he was from, or anything like that. I actually recently discovered the Phantom. And now I'm becoming obsessed with him. It's like the concept of something may have existed for a long time, longer than you can imagine, and yet you spent all this time not knowing that they existed, kind of thing. It's like the case of it always existed, you just didn't know about it. And thanks to the internet, it's really easy to find out more about stuff and learn about stuff and exchange ideas. That's how people found out about my works, how people found out about Jason and Mason, Odyssey of Oddities, and Ivan's War, simply because, the internet can share my ideas. And now we destroyed Mega Man. He just explodes the same way we explode. At least they got that part right about him. But you'll see a slight homage to the original game in the background. Perspective grid thing, showing the different colors flow through like what happened in the original Mega Man we fought ourselves. This is Ray Phoenix signing out.